We are back for another episode. We're going to be talking about games today.
Yes, super fun. All right, friends, welcome back.
Hey. Today we're talking about educational games, how we like to use them in our homeschool, and some of our favorites.
Yes, I feel like this is a perfect post for the summertime.
Yeah, definitely. Megan does school all through the summer. Mm-hmm. I do a little bit, not as much.
I think you do a lot more than you think.
I guess so.
Though.
I guess so, but yeah. So this is a great thing to use in the summertime to keep kids learning in just a fun way.
Yes, and I love to, because a lot of times with games, like if you don't even say like we're doing an educational game or this is for school, like who wants to play a game?
Let's play a math game. You know, if you put it that way, they're going to be like, nah.
I'm good. I'd rather stare at the wall.
But one of the cool things about games is that they'll be playing and learning at the same time and not necessarily know.
Yeah. I also love it for when my kids are needing some variety.
Yeah, definitely. We do too. So we've amassed a pretty big collection of learning games over the years at our house. We have a closet that's just jam-packed full of different kinds of games that we use. And so I want to tell you some of our favorites, but just a couple of other things about learning games that I love. They can help to reinforce or practice skills that kids might be struggling with. Like, for instance, sometimes like if I have a child who's struggling with multiplication, I'll pull out a game and we'll just, practice a couple of facts and do it in a game sort of way. And that makes it more fun for them. And that is, they do recognize they're learning, but it takes away the stress and the pressure of the lesson that they may have been doing it in normally. And so sometimes just taking that pressure off and just saying, okay, today we're just doing a game for your math can make it a whole lot better for them. And
yeah, we've even done things too where like, hey, instead of math today, we're going to do this bingo game. Mm-hmm. If everybody can get their stuff done by a certain time. And then people are really motivated. So like maybe you have to go somewhere that day and you can't have them dragging their feet. So you're like, here's the deal. If you can get your school done by noon, then we will play a game, eat lunch, and then we'll go.
Yeah.
Right? Or you don't get to come and you have to do math.
Yeah, we've done that as well. And another great thing about them is that they're more engaged in the learning process when they're playing it. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of helps them learn a little better sometimes than they would in just like worksheet format or something like that. So it's just a great way to change things up, have a little fun, do something different, but also kind of reinforce skills that they may be struggling in.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so do you want to break it up in categories or just some of our favorite
let's do that.
games?
Yeah.
Okay.
So math games.
You
had a couple there that you like.
I do. So our favorite one is actually a bingo game. Mm-hmm. And it is on one side it is addition and the other side it is subtraction. Mm-hmm. So I would say I7 plus 8. And then they would do I15.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that one's really fun. And I usually we'll try to do some type of prize for the first person to get a bingo. And my prizes are lame, like hugs. Like you get to pick this or something like that. So my prizes are super simple. That's how I roll. And then we can do addition or subtraction, but we'll do different ways to make it more fun, like speed round or stuff like that. Of like, hey, I'm gonna go as quick as I can. Let's see how quick you guys can keep up.
Yeah, that's fun. So we have I never know if you should be pronounced as blocus or blockus.
I think I say blockus. We don't have it, but
it's so fun. So this is kind of more of like a shape geometry, like figuring out area kind of game. And my kids love this game. We play it a lot. It does not feel educational, but there's a lot of skills that they're learning as they play it, like being able to tell like how much area they're covering. And that's a really fun one. I say it different every time, and everyone I've talked to says it different. So I'm not sure. Whatever you pronounce it, Blokus, blockus. Feels like blockus because they're blocks.
Yeah.
But other people say it different ways. So that one is one we love. Another math one that I just think is simple and fun is just grab a deck of cards and play Math War with it.
Oh, how do you do that? I've never done that.
So like you put 2 cards down, you can do it multiplication or addition, and then you see who has the highest number between those two. Like they each put 2 cards down.
Oh, okay.
So like each player lays down 2 instead of just the 1. You could do it with a single if for littler kids too.
Okay, so if you had a 7 and a 9, you'd be like, I'm 63,
right.
And 5 and 4 would be 20.
Yeah, okay. And then they take the cards, whoever has the highest.
Can you ever get war with it? Like, does that ever happen?
Occasionally, but it's a lot less often.
Okay, yeah. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's a fun one. It's easy.
So there's a lady called Teaching Treasures, and she has a whole pack of games that I bought. And one of them is this monkey match that I am undefeated, the undefeated champion still. I don't know how my mind works so well with this, but it has this cute little board and it has the answers, right? Like, so 56, 20, or something like that, or the other way around. And then you have these little monkey cards that you have to put the puzzle in to match it right.
Oh, okay.
So as you put it on the right numbers, you are creating an image.
Fun.
And so you could totally try to cheat and just do the image, but you're super slow, right? And I've even given them like a 30-second head start or a minute head start, and I'm still undefeated.
That's funny.
But that's a fun one that we've done, is that monkey match. She has a bunch of different little board games, but that's one of our favorite ones of hers.
Another simple one is just Dominoes. This is great for younger kids that are still learning to count the dots and things like that. But when you're just matching up the numbers on the Dominoes, it's just really simple and fun. But pull those out for little kids that are counting and learning to count, and they have so much fun with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was thinking another game that they probably don't even realize they'd be learning math would be Monopoly.
Yeah.
And have them be the banker.
Yeah.
And maybe that's painful, but it's really fun that they have to count their money, or even if you're the banker, right? Or another big kid, but a little one not telling them how to do it, right? Just like, okay, you owe the bank $100, and they have to, if they don't have 100, they have to figure it out how to get to 100 or whatever the dollar amount is. So that one's really fun. Any game with money in it. And just allowing them to stumble over it, and like, instead of being intense, right? Like, come on, let's play. But just allowing them to figure it out, and the math and
yeah,
all
definitely.
That's
a good one. You guys have probably heard of Sequence, the game Sequence. I don't know if you've played that, but there's a Sequence Numbers, and that's another, number recognition and counting game that's great for younger learners that we like a lot too. And then another fun one, I didn't put it on my list, but it's called Sum Swamp. SUM.
Okay.
It's a really cute addition game that my kids have always liked since they were little. Lots of fun one. And one more for math. I've got a lot here. Rat-a-tat-cat. It's just a little card game, but it's like an addition number game that my kids enjoy playing. And that's another one that they'll play just normally, not for learning, just because they think it's fun. So if you can find a good one like that they're just like, this is a fun game, let's play it, and they don't recognize that they're actually like working out math problems as they're doing it, that's a win.
Yes, and we also have done math puzzles.
Yeah.
And I remember at our co-op, we had a mom who used to be a math teacher. And so she actually was the one who introduced this to my kids, of getting them to think creatively and solve like a story problem with math.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a very different way to look at math numbers. And so we've mixed that in sometimes too.
Yeah, that's cool. So on my website, I've got a lot of educational principle games. And some of the math ones that I have there, I have a really fun one called Make 10, which are just little triangles, and each triangle has a different number on it, and you have to find matching numbers, or you can do sums, like we do, like you have to add up to 10. So like you'd have to find a 5 and a 5 that match together, or a 7 and a 3 that match together. And it's a fun little puzzle game that we love to play. It's been a super popular one over on my site. I have tons of, I have a fraction pizza game. I have a lot of different fraction puzzles and things that you can print over there too. I like making math games. I think I've talked about this a lot in the past, about how math has never been my strongest or most favorite.
Your book?
Yeah, and so that's why I started with just doing a lot of math things. So there's a lot of different math games that you can find and print from my site, because that's one subject that I tried really hard to make more fun so that we could enjoy it more in our family.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and your book is an excellent source for math stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay, so spelling.
Yeah,
this is one I used to do spelling as these are our words for the week, and make it more organized. And then if you think about what spelling word you remember from growing up, I would imagine none.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Right? You don't learn spelling really until you have to utilize it.
Right.
And my dad and I were laughing about words we still don't know how to spell correctly. Mine is definitely.
Oh, that's funny. There's always words that pop up and I'm like, I'm really not sure on that one. Gorgeous is a funny one that I've always struggled with, which isn't really that hard of a word, but it's one of those that I always stumble on. I've always been a good speller, but I have kids that are terrible spellers. So we do a lot of things to just kind of play with words to get them comfortable with it.
Yes. One of my favorite, so I have two favorites, but the first one is Boggle.
Yeah.
Also undefeated champ.
You're just a good game player, aren't you?
I love games. No, I'm not undefeated in the other ones, but Boggle,
Boggle's
I
a good
love
one.
it.
Scrabble's another good one. It's just like a good basic learn to spell word
Scrabble
one.
is good.
Yeah, we like that one.
And Bananagram.
Yeah, I love that
That
game.
one's really great because what I've done with little kids, because Bananagram, you have your little tiles of letters and you have to put it together like a crossword. Right? But for my little kids, I allow them to keep them separate.
Yeah.
And say, like, if you can mix them together, that's great. But, like, if you can't, no worries. And then it's even fun to have a phone there. And we'll ask, like, I have an Android, so you'd ask Google, like, is this a word? And so then they're constantly trying out new things. And they'll be like, oh, this is a word, and this is what it means. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
so
that's fun.
a really fun one for us.
I have two of them. They're called 4-way games. There's 4-way spell, and then the math one is 4-way countdown. And they're fun. They're like a box shape, and you get 4 players, everyone gets a side, and they just have little like tabs that you flip down to either spell words or do math problems on. It's a really fun little game with like a little popper thing in the middle, and my kids love those. They're cool little like wooden games.
Yeah.
So those are a lot of fun. I also just do a lot of like we do spelling hopscotch, or we'll go out in the backyard and spell with chalk, or just anything to just sort of change up spelling.
Yes. So
that my kids don't feel like they're like stuck to just writing words on paper. And we don't do a whole lot of word memorization with my kids because I think because it's so hard it's my 2 boys that have always struggled with spelling. My girls seem to be just fine. It's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
But and so I take that like pain point out and we just read and we stress not very much about spelling, because I feel like as they read more, they gain a lot more and just kind of get better at it.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And then as you begin writing, and especially when you write on a computer and they start popping
the
up
spell checking.
Oh, that's not how you spell that. That's how I spelled it.
Yeah.
I had one who spelled everything phonetically correct. And so it was very funny because you're like, technically I can see why you would spell it that way.
That's funny.
But welcome to the English language.
And then on my site, I have a post. It's not all my content, but it's from like a collection of a lot of sites, but 100 ways to make spelling fun.
Oh, awesome.
And so it's just all kinds of just different spelling learning games and activities that you can do with kids. And I'll link that in the show notes. But it's a really great resource to find just fun activities to do with words for little kids.
Yeah, I've seen on a post of yours too where you did it with an expo marker and glass.
Yeah, we've done that. And I've also done, I like Dominoes obviously, but we take just our regular Dominoes and just put a piece of painter's tape on it, and we did rhyming word dominoes. So you can find matches, and you could do that with your spelling words or sight words or anything really, and that's a really fun and simple way to just help them with reading or spelling.
Okay. Now let's do writing games.
Writing.
Which is funny. I never liked writing growing up, and I write all the time now.
Oh, that's funny.
So this comes from Teaching Treasures as well. I bought her stuff, and she has creative book ideas that are really fun, and I've done a co-op class with that are just like, one of them is silly, where it has animals. So like you make a book and you have 3 strips, and then you can open them up independently.
Oh, fun.
So you have a noun, a verb, and like an adverb or something. So like the lion danced joyfully.
Okay.
So then you can mix it up. So then you'd have a lion's head, like a cat body, and dog feet. And you can mix up all those things.
Oh, that's fun.
So that one's really cute. So her book of creative book ideas. And then one we've been doing a lot lately is her Once Upon a Time story. And so it says, once upon a time there was a... and then you draw a card. So it's like a prince. And more than anything, he wanted and so you draw it like, and he wanted a family. But, so it gives them kind of an outline of like, a basic story outline is you have a character, something about them, what they want, the obstacle in the way, and how do they overcome it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a really cute way that we did it not too long ago on one of our just writing days we did as a group. And that was
really fun.
Really fun.
I have a set of storytelling dice that I made once. We just got wooden cubes and wrote different words around it. So I think I had 3 of them, where it's like a place, like situation, and I'm trying to remember, it's been so long since we've used them, but there were 3 different things on it, and you would roll them and it would be like a clown in a park with an orange, or I don't know, I don't remember exactly, and they'd have to like make up a story about the things that they rolled, and it was fun. So we would do those like verbally or written, depending on the child and their ability level and stuff. That was a really fun one that we loved. And we've also done choose your own adventure stories.
Okay.
Where we make like strips of paper and we put them in different bowls with the same kind of thing, where you'd like have different situations and different people, and then they would pick the 3 pieces of paper and then have to write a story about it. So that was a fun one also.
Another thing along with writing, if you were doing grammar, are Mad Libs.
Oh yeah. Those are a lot of fun.
Mad Libs are my favorite. They are so silly, and my kids always has potty humor involved in it. And I think it's hilarious. And so they continue to do it. But it's great to be like, now what's an adjective? And you're like, an adjective describes a noun. And they're like, oh yeah. So like tall, short, green, whatever, sweaty, whatever you want. Those are really fun because they get to review a noun and a verb and all sorts of things like that. That sometimes adverbs are one that seem to be that people forget what an adverb is. So it's really great to be able to just make it fun and just like, oh, remember an adverb? I can give you the definition, but usually it's a word that ends in ly, right? Describes usually a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. But yeah, so how did he walk? He quickly walked, right?
Yeah.
So that was fun too.
Yeah, that's good. All right, we have a lot of geography type games that we've enjoyed. Well, a few. We'd like to get geography puzzles.
I love
like
the
to
puzzles.
do different maps of different continents or states, different things like that are a lot of fun. We also really enjoy Ticket to Ride. Have you ever played that
I've
game?
never played it.
It's so fun. I love it. And you can get it of like, we have the United States one and then we have a Europe one. And so you're learning the location of these countries or states and like major cities as you're playing this game. And it's just a super fun game to begin with.
Yeah.
But it's really teaching them about the map of the area as they play. It's better for older kids.
Okay.
But it's a really fun game and we've loved that. We have another game called Great States. That's a U.S. state game, and we have the junior version, so it helps my youngest kids learn like the location of the states in the U.S., and that's a fun one also.
Yeah, that's really fun.
I also have, this is not geography, but more, I guess, current events, a game that I made called Race to the White House, which is pertinent right now, but it teaches kids about the presidential election process, and it's a lot of fun that we've enjoyed playing that one. It's a good one to teach your kids right now as we're going through an election process as well.
You may not remember with everything
else
going
on. I know. We'll see if it even happens. I don't know. But yeah, there is that still in the background, right?
Yes. Yeah, that is happening this year.
It is.
Yeah, so I just think games are such a fun way to mix things up. And something as simple as like the puzzle, geography puzzle that we do. So I don't know if I've talked about this, but we've been studying Africa since my husband has been traveling there a lot. So while I would read a book about David Livingstone, who was one of the first white people to kind of, map Africa. And so I could read the book and they would do the puzzle. Yeah. So it was something good for them to do with their hands and then allow me to read about it. And then we could try to see if like, is this where he is? Or what country would that be? Because it will talk about rivers. He didn't find it, right? He was the first white man to see it, I guess. Right. But so that was just really fun to mix things up like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great idea. All right. So I have a few others. Science. Oh, yeah. I like science. I've got kind of more like for actual board games you can buy. Probably you've all heard of Snap Circuits. It's not necessarily a board game, but a really cool educational tool that you can use to teach about like electrical currents. And that one, my kids just love it. Like they love to just pull that out on a regular day and just play with it. And it's so cool and fun. Another really neat one that we just got recently is called Tumble.
I haven't heard of that.
It's so neat. It's like this, it's kind of teaching programming and coding, but without any technology. And so they're setting up these coding systems that make a ball move through a pattern. Okay. It's a really, really fun game. And I have seen my kids sit and use it for like 2 hours at a time. Like they have so much fun with it that they'll just sit there for hours playing with it. Kind of an individual game that kids can get out or they could work in together, but mostly my kids won't do it alone. Yeah. So it's not like a interactive thing as much, but it's really cool. And then another cool one is Gravity Maze. And this one where they'll pick a card and they have to figure out how to get a ball through a maze by using these different pieces. And it's another just really neat one of like critical thinking and stuff like that. So that's an awesome one. And for my own site, I don't know if I've mentioned the periodic table Battleship game. I think I have here.
Yeah, we need to. This one made it to the Huffington Post, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
This is awesome.
It's been fun. It's been featured on a lot of big sites, which is fun for me. So that's a fun one. Or just like regular Battleship, but you play it with periodic tables.
And I've totally used it for science classes.
It's a lot of fun, and kids love it. Just makes it a fun way to learn about the periodic table and learn the elements. And
yeah, you know what we did one year, years ago when we did Apologia? We don't do it anymore, but originally when we did, I had taken all the review questions in the back and I made a game with it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what part of our Battle of the Brains, the science questions are all from our old science books.
That's awesome.
It's funny because the kids that are playing the game now never read those books.
No, so they don't know them as well, probably.
No, but like, so they get it every year and it'll be like, what's this part of the flower? What's a sepal? What's this on the epicotyl on a seed? And they're like, I don't know. And it's like, oh, that's right.
That's hilarious.
We need to study botany. The big kids did. That's fun. Like, it's a silly game, and it's funny how much they have remembered because they want to win Battle of the Brains so bad.
Yeah.
So
if you haven't, did we do an episode?
We did do an episode on Battle of the Brains.
I'll find what number it is and link it in the show notes. But she does a really fun thing at the end of the term every.
Yeah, we just had it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of fun.
It was Josh is my current winner. So congratulations,
nice.
Josh.
Well done, Josh. Anyway, there's so many, and I can link to even more of the ones I've created. But games are just an awesome way to make your homeschool a much more fun atmosphere and to just change stuff up and have a day that's just full of fun. Once in a while, I'll just say, okay, today's a learning game day. And the kids just get so excited because they can just pull out, we've got a big stash of them, and they pull out those games and they just play together and have a fun day without pressure.
And it's great too. I remember when mine were learning to count, that even playing Sorry, and they had to count 5, or like, you know, I mean, it goes up to 12. And so they would have get the opportunity to practice counting.
Yeah.
And so even something as simple as that.
Like Candyland or, you know, anything like that where they're just learning those basic little skills are really good for the youngest ones too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening in today, and we will see you next week.
All right. Have a good one. See you guys.